What's going on, everyone? Welcome, one and all, to the next episode of the Shadow Experience podcast. I am your host today, Grimm's Hellhound. Covered with me today, we got Ray Renee, we have Draco Stay High, and we have Lady Stay High. Today, we are going to be taking it back a week or so to the origin of Christmas and the holidays. For some of you that don't know, the holidays is taken from pagan religions and Christians made it their own. You have religions that date back before Christmas was even started, from Viking past, you have Romans, you have the Egyptians, you have all sorts of other religions that went through the winter solstice all the way up until the Christians took over and was converting others to Christianity. Today I'm going to be speaking on the Viking Yule. Ray, you were going to be speaking about
Saturnalia and the Romans.
Draco and Lady. They're going to be doing some touch ups and telling some stories to us about some other things that has happened and some stories that they've done some research on for pagan, for what it means to be pagans, for what it is for uh, the pagan culture during this time. So to get started, let's start with the Romans.
The Romans. Okay. I'm going to be reading. I'm sorry. Okay, so the season of Saturnalia, which is based off of the Roman god Saturn. It was a popular Roman festival dedicated to the Roman god Saturn. The festival's influence could be felt throughout the Western world. Originally celebrated on December 17th, it was extended first to 3 days, eventually being a total of 7. It was connected to the winter sowing season, which in modern Italy varies from October to January. They compared it to like modern day Mardi Gras with how they celebrated, like throughout the streets. It was just a crazy time. During the festival season, all work and business were suspended. Slaves were given temporary freedom to say and do what they wanted. Moral restrictions were seized. Crime and murder were very active during this time.
Holy cow.
There was a mock king that was chosen. Let's see. Towards the end of the season, presents of candles, wax models of fruit, and waxen statues were fashioned and manufactured. Woo, that's a hard word for some reason right now. They were given as gifts. So this is the one of the origins of gift giving was during this time. Let's see. So yeah. Upon the celebration of Christmas and the New Year was created during this. The fact that Christmas was celebrated on the birthday of the unconquered sun gave the season of solar background connected to the calendar of January. When houses were decorated with greenery, lights, and presents were given to children and the poor. Concerning the gift candle, the Romans had a story that an old prophecy bade the earliest inhabitants would send heads to Hades and Saturn. Ooh, I clicked on something. The ancient Latins interpreted this to mean human sacrifices, but according to legend, Hercules advised using lights and not using human heads to decorate your home. Don't do that. We don't do that here.
Be civilized.
So yeah, this was a big time.
We're losing Ray.
7 days worth of part and various gifts. Why are you losing me?
Yeah, you were cutting out, honey.
You're cutting out and your video's gone. So while
And
we're
Graham, take
dealing with
over.
technical difficulties, I'll go ahead and start talking about uh, some of the stuff that she's covering right now. So Saturnalia, they were one of the origins of gift giving, and raise back. Hello.
I was still in the call and like everything for me. I'm confused.
Okay, you're
Yeah,
back.
go.
it's not.
So
not
welcome
Let's
back,
go.
Ray. Sorry for the
Hi.
technical difficulties, guys. Ray,
Blaming
you want to
my
leave off where start
internet.
off where you left off?
So yeah, they gave gifts to kids. It was usually candles. Food was also a gift that was common.
Food is always a great gift.
It was a lot of
Mhm.
handmade stuff that was gifted. But it was during like the 7-day period in December, starting the 17th, that they would do like their Christmas.
So they started their Christmas a bit at the start of the winter solstice then. And would they go for long for the days all the way up to the end of the solstice?
It was originally 3 and they spread it to 7 days.
Okay. So
7 total days.
7 total days of the winter solstice.
Mhm.
Yeah, food is a very, very good gift. If you guys send me food for Christmas presents, I would never be mad, except for shipping from my area to my house. For me, I went over the Viking Yule, which the Viking Yule was a celebration from the end of the winter solstice all the way up to January 12th. The celebrations generally included drinking, feasting, songs, games, and banquets, sacrifices to the gods and our ancestor spirits. The Vikings had their Yule tree, which inspired the later Christmas tree. The green tree was often decorated with smaller statues of Norse gods, foods, and clothes. They attempted to call the spirits of the forest. The Yule wreath, which is the Christmas wreath for us, was used during the celebration. It was a giant wheel, and the Vikings would set a big wreath on fire. They threw it downhill to wish the return of the sun and theorized that the Yule wreath was the ancestors of the Christmas wreath on the door, or hang Yule wreaths for the ancestors of the wreath on the door. The Yule log was one of the traditions of the Viking Yule, as it was a long oak with fir. They carved the runes on the oak for the protection of the gods. The Vikings would save a piece of the log for the next year's fire in their house. It was for the protection purpose. The Yule goat was also one of the most important parts of the Viking Yule. The Viking Yule goat was related to a pair of goat belongings of the to Thor, god of thunder and lightning. In Norse mythology, a pair of goat of Thor pulled the chariot from through the sky and making the sound of thunder. I can't read today for some reason. It was believed that the Viking young men often dressed the goat skin, going from house to house, singing along. In return, the young men would get a reward like food and drink. Again, gift giving, food, alcohol, perfect.
Can't be mad at that one at
The
all.
Vikings had a Santa Claus for themselves too. One person would dress himself to represent the old man at winter. The Vikings would always come to the old man to would welcome the old man into their home and he would join them for a feast. He wore a hooded cloak, traveling around, sometimes walked, sometimes he rode a horse. Many theorized the Yule old man was actually Odin, and the horse he was riding was Sifnir, the eight-legged horse. So a lot
I
of
think
the
that's so cool.
things that we practice today for Christmas came from Viking lore as well. You had the Christmas tree that they decorated. You had the wreaths, but real practice with the wreaths was setting a big one on fire, hoping for the sun to return. And then you had Santa Claus, which was an old
Oh,
man,
really? That's so cool.
Father
Sorry.
Christmas.
the father of Christmas, which they
Okay.
thought would be Odin going around and visiting his followers. That's actually really cool
I think so
to
too,
me
dude.
because
So
I've
cool.
always been fascinated with Vikings. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always loved Viking shows, movies, and whatnot.
Vikings rock, dude. Vikings so rock.
All right, Draco.
It's my turn, you guys. I have a lot more information than I thought. So, back to what we were talking about. This is an amazing topic to talk about. Where Christmas is founded from, even in the Christian religion. So, during these time periods, as we all know, Christianity was a very small religion at the time. And so they had missionaries, as they still do today. They go from place to place and they travel. Back then, they really traveled a lot. During this time period, they would go into different places and pick up these certain traditions through the winter solstice, adding it onto Christmas as what we know it is today. Due to, of course, you go to a different place, you want to celebrate what they're celebrating at the same time, especially the fact that it all fell in December during the winter solstice. During the winter solstice, this was a time when a lot of people took breaks from work after harvesting, so they had a lot of food and getting things together. And also, it was a dark time. Everybody was waiting for the sun to return. So, during these time periods, of course, in order to keep themselves entertained, since a lot of people didn't work, and this goes through, I mean, this is through all pagans and religion, through the Norse, the Druids, and the Celtics, and also we talked about the Romans. So, during these time period they would give gifts. Giving is a big thing of exchange. And also what I found out that was actually pretty darn interesting to me is during this time period too, there was a lot of ghost tales. A lot of people would talk about warding off evil spirits or even having loved ones come back from the dead and stay sometimes. It's pretty interesting to see that happening during this time period. So, one of the stories I would like to share is in the ancient times, there was a wicked man who died on the day of the winter solstice. And I believe this is Chinese folklore, I think. During the times, a wicked man who died on the day of the winter solstice. After he died, he became an evil ghost and continued to harm people. However, he either hated or was afraid of red beans. Some of these things get lost in translation. So people cooked red beans on the winter solstice to avoid evil spirits and to prevent diseases. They believed the red beans had the power to cleanse away evil spirits. The color of red was believed to symbolize positive energy or yang, and hence effectively in thwarting the dark energy, which was yin. And according to traditions and families, first place a bowl of red bean porridge in the ancestral shrine, and then place more bowls of porridge around the house, in the rooms, in the barn, by the well, and by the jars containing ferment foods. It was also common practice to smear some porridge on the main gate and the outer walls of the house in the belief that it will keep evil spirits away. I found these this actually goes into a lot of people's stories during the winter solstice, and also Christmas caroling was another one. I forget which one it is. I lost what I had, but
That was also part of the Vikings was going around singing and at being festive with others.
Yep, songs
yes,
of the winter solstice.
and warding off, evil spirits. And of course, they had their Yale. Yeah, that's right. Yes, that is. Yes, you're right. Okay, that's what I read. Okay, so um, we find that during these dark times, like I said, loved ones coming back, or these traditions that throughout history these missionaries have picked up, and now it's the Christmas as we know it today. One thing that I found freaking awesome, I have to tell this story because we've been talking about the mistletoe, right? I found this. Kissing under the mistletoe. In the Roman world, the mistletoe honored the goddess sun, like Ray Renee said. To keep him happy, they would perform fertility rituals under strings of mistletoe. Yes, we certainly toned it down a lot since then, now it's just kissing. Or even in the Druid world, when a mistletoe was found on the land, like even during times of war, it'd be a symbol of peace. So if they found it during their combat stay, everybody would call a truce for that day. So these traditions always cracked me up with the tree decorating, the gift giving, and I kind of want the mistletoe to go back to what that was. You know what I'm saying? Just put a big old wreath, and you know what I mean? like
Just keep
Jesus is
mistletoe over the bed.
exactly. You know what this means? We have to please Saturn. So I found it very much interesting, and also I want to throw in there the story of Saint Nicholas. But even before, the father of Christmas, otherwise known as Saint Nicholas, was a patron saint of children, the poor, and prostitutes. Living around 4th century AD, Saint Nicholas was a generous bishop who was also known for giving gifts to the poor. Sporting a big beard and a long cloak with this, like the Santa we all know and love today. And then also this goes into Odin as well, Odin's story. But like I said, I'm just doing touch ups on that right now. We have us for us is Coca-Cola guy now. I don't even really I wasn't around that time when I guess Coca-Cola made it a thing, but those are what I found interesting about the winter solstice and the combination of all of the time periods that fall in and make Christmas what it is today. That is all
it's
I had. I wanted ghost stories.
definitely absolutely amazing how just a little bit of research could unpack all of Christmas into one stream, really. And there's
Oh
still
yeah.
even so much more to uncover with it because there's so much belief in the holidays
Hmm.
that we're stripping from other cultures.
Yep.
hmm
Hmm.
Um, one thing I want to touch on is like a lot of people ask this question, so I think it's a really good question to try to answer the best of the ability. Is like, what does it mean to be pagan? My kids ask me the same question. You could be considered a pagan if you don't believe in religion or you worship more than a god, um, more than one god. Sorry. The original pagans were followers of an ancient religion that worshipped several gods. They call them how do you say this word? Polytheistic? Poly,
Polytheistic.
yeah, theistic.
Polytheism.
Polytheistic.
Polytheism.
Yeah.
Mm.
So today, pagan is used to describe someone who doesn't go to a synagogue or church or like, anywhere you would actually worship one god. So which is
Um,
pretty funny
yeah,
because pagans believe that nature is sacred and that the natural cycles of birth, growth to death observed in the world around us carry profoundly spiritual meanings.
That was a good
there's a lot with
taking picking up on
the
that.
polytheism because,
Hmm
and with me being a Christian, I was never taught that where Christmas actually derived from. I was never
Mm.
shown that. I was always said Christmas is a Christian holiday. But like I said, as a kid, I was always like really into Vikings. Always,
Yep.
I've read books on it. Watched TV series. I've watched movies all throughout my childhood, even into my adult life. And I'm just still fascinated by it. And to see that when I found out Christmas was actually before Christmas was Christmas, there
Hmm.
was the winter solstice, the Yule, and it even sings it in some of the Christmas carols, the
Yep.
Yuletide carols.
Yep.
That's that there explains so much right there that it came from another religion, another uh, belief system.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because like I said, they don't believe in one god. They believe in like a chief, a godhead. Like it's not necessarily God or so, and it comes from Rome actually. A lot of paganism comes from Rome, and in Europe.
And another thing that a lot of people don't realize,
Well, the
December
Roman
25th was not, it was proven to not be Christ's actual birthday either.
Mm-mm.
And that's the whole what Christmas is worshiping Christ's birthday. He was actually born sometime in August. So let that sink in for a little bit.
Wasn't he resurrected in December though?
No, that's April.
Easter.
Easter.
Oh yeah, that's Easter. Sorry.
Oh, this is crazy. I'm sorry. I was reading about ghost stories of, you know, the Christmas era, and I guess there was a creature that left gifts as well.
So let's hear some
The
ghost stories
Daggerer.
from Christmases past.
There's also a creature that will kidnap children in the middle of the night
Yep.
for not being
This is
good.
Yeah, but everybody wants to.
The whole point of
wow.
Krampus. The whole
Mhm.
Yeah, Krampus. Yeah.
reason behind Krampus is he would capture kids that were naughty, and he would feast on them, wouldn't he?
And they
Mhm.
still have
Yep.
pagan festivals that you can go to.
Yep.
Like like you said, Christmas Mardi.
I think it's the shrooms. Raven.
Hey, as long as they have a mistletoe, I'm in. Let's go. Let's go. I want none of that kissing either. Okay, I'm sorry. I like that one way too much.
So let's hear some of these ghostly stories, Draco.
Okay, let's go with this one. Well, this is about that creature I was just telling you about. The Dagara creature often lived in their graves in order to defend treasure that they were buried with, but they were also known to enter communities in order to wreak havoc on the living, often tormenting those who wronged them in life. They can kill by crushing someone with their superior strength, eating their flesh, eating them whole in their enlarged state, or kill indirectly by driving a person mad. These creatures were said to be able to enter dreams of the living. This is what got me here, right? Is the dream part. Enter the dreams of the living in order to torment them, and would always leave behind a gift to show the victim that the encounter was real. I'm sorry. That freaks me out. Imagine having the worst nightmare ever, right? And then you wake up and there's a gift right there.
That would
Oh,
the whole elves on a
That,
shelf.
yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, which is weird. Why, like, kids love that shit. That shit would haunt me forever.
Yeah, right. There's like I said, there's so much that we haven't talked about because you got the elves on the shelf. What that whole thing symbolizes, because all the elves on the shelves do is cause chaos. You got the
that has to do with the Fae.
Exactly.
you
Oh,
got
goblins.
Why
more.
is that
I had goblin
okay?
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You got
Why is that okay?
other religions' versions of Santa Claus
Hmm.
Mhm,
and the truth behind Santa Claus as well.
mhm.
Draco touched on it. He's the patron saint of children,
Mhm.
prostitutes, and what else?
Children, prostitutes, and the poor.
And the poor.
Hmm.
So
And the poor.
there's so
Exactly.
much that there is to unpack there.
Mhm.
I got one for you. I got one. When at home at night during the Yule, December 13th to the 25th, listen for strange knocks at the door,
Mm-hmm.
especially during storms or windy weather. The door, the door latch may rattle, and you think you hear a voice, not a threatening one, perhaps a murmur or a word. But when you go to the door, there's no one there. In the Celtic mythism, this is said to indicate the coming of the mysterious stranger. If it happens twice or thrice, you might invite the invisible presence into your home, saying, "May the gods who sent you come and bless this house." Sometimes a kind of strange rapping may be heard at a window pane on dark Yuletide nights. If you hear it, especially at a window, throw open the sash and allow the night air to flood briefly into your room. Say as you do so, may the mysterious stranger come in and warm him or herself out of your. No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that.
It's very dangerous inviting any
No.
spirit into your home.
Yes, No,
because
I'm
you
not
never
doing
know what it actually is. It could be a trickster. It could be a mimic.
Mhm. And we talked about that with like the demons, and they sound like loved ones. They sound like complete humans, and they're just tricking you. Like they want you to be vulnerable.
And
Jacob for
let's
Christmas. Yeah.
continue. Let's continue down the road about Santa.
No, no, we
Why do you
don't.
think the whole thing for Santa is kids sitting on his lap?
That one I don't know. I don't know about
Because he's
this.
a creep.
Why?
The patron saint of children.
Oh. I'm not saying nothing there. I just burped.
Between the patron saint of children and prostitutes. That's kind of creepy, don't you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
He protected the vulnerable. That was the thing behind him.
Yeah,
There
He
we
was the
go.
protector of vulnerable.
but it doesn't change the fact that it's really creepy.
It's it's strange, but
Or like the creature that gives gifts. It was you, Saint Nick. No, I'm just saying. It was all a dream. I'm joking. Okay. I can't help it.
I think that's the thing that's so fascinating is how we celebrate and do things with holidays, and then viewing how it was done hundreds of years ago, and we're like, oh, that's kind of strange, but to them that was normal. That's what they did.
Yeah, that was their life. That was what they believed in. So we got about 3 more minutes before we open it up to chat. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I think.
Anybody hear any knocking or their names?
Yeah. Yes, we
yes,
did.
Yes.
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 At the window, at our bedroom window, or the living room window.
We don't know what window or what door. Just like straight up in the front of the house, and
hear
it
it
woke
clear
me
as
up.
day.
The kids heard it.
Yeah, we all
And
came out of the room at the
we
same
were
time.
all just in the living room, like, what is that? And who was it? I thought maybe it was like a delivery guy because he's done that before, like just bang on the screen door
Like the
instead of
cops?
hitting the doorbell.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
FBI, open up.
literally was just like bam,
Amazon.
bam, bam on my door, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, literally, I was like, ooh, this guy, he was in the mood. And yeah, no, just out of
That's actually
nowhere.
really creepy, though.
It was
It
very
was.
creepy. I was in the middle of my sleep, my little nap, and I ran out here. I was like, babe, what was that? And he's like, I don't know. He was like, there's nobody
Yeah,
outside,
it was this window.
nobody at the door.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
Ooh, Ray, you don't want to open that one.
I mentioned the Fae earlier.
Yeah, Fays are.
We could do a whole thing.
We could do a whole like season for Faye.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, for
so
real.
much to unpack with Faye.
Oh god, the actual origins behind the Tooth Fairy, it's horrifying.
Yes.
Raven,
Dude,
no.
that's why I
Ouija
love
boards, no.
that movie that they did, Darkness Falls. I thought that was so
Oh yeah,
freaking
Darkness Falls
one
fucks
of the
me up every
best
time.
stories of the Tooth Fairy ever. Like,
That's some real shit. That
I
one's
think it's the
creepy.
idea of anybody coming to your house while you sleep. Like,
Yeah.
And breaking in is like you can't just knock on the door and no, you just gotta
I
go
would
through the
like
chimney.
win if you knocked on the door.
But still, it's
Right?
like he's like, oh, the door's locked, so I'm just gonna come through the chimney. First of all, I'm
Yeah.
lighting a fire in the chimney every
Personal
fucking
space,
night.
bro.
And that goes back to so you know how they leave milk and cookies out for Santa Claus now? That also is a Yule thing with Odin. They would leave carrots and straw out for
His horse.
for his horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
For Sleipnir.
Left
The
near.
eight-legged horse. That is also Loki's child.
Yep.
Oh really?
Yep.
Yep. Loki
Okay.
turned into a horse, gave birth to an eight-legged horse, and that horse became
Odin's
pet.
steed.
No way.
Yep.
Crazy.
Bro.
Oh god, the Norse mythology. We could I
Norse
could have so much fun
mythology
talking
is
about that.
so deep. It goes so deep.
Well, like the World Eater, the giant snake.
Yep.
That's also Loki's child.
Yep.
I was about to say.
Jormungandr, you have Hel, you have Fenrir.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are Loki's children.
What?
Yes. Hell, in the Marvel comics, they say that Hela is actually their sister, but no, Hela is actually Loki's child. She's
Wow.
actually, wasn't she actually a serpent as well?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just know
I
she's
don't think
depicted as having like half of her face burnt.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
she's depicted as being like atrocious to look at because half of her is beautiful and the other half's burnt.
Wow, that's crazy.
And she also is the decryption of yin and yang too, because she's got both
Mm.
good and evil mentalities.
Oh wow. But I mean, it would make sense. I mean, if you have, yeah, I would, yeah.
Talk about a bad case of bipolar disorder, right?
Oh yeah, but at its finest.
I was about to say.
But
That's like
I think
definitely
this
at
is
its
a great
finest.
time to open up to chat. If there's anyone in chat that would like to share a story with us,
Or any tidbit information you want to talk about.
or
I
yeah,
Seriously.
any information that you guys might know that we did not cover today for the holiday season,
Paganism.
Paganism. Yeah.
is just there's so much to cover that we just don't have enough time in a week to do all the research and to bring it to you guys. It is very this time of year
Deep
is
stuff.
really hard for coming up with stuff. That's why we took last week off, because we had so much planning and everything else. And I do apologize, but we're going to come back stronger than ever. This is the new year, and my new year resolution was to get the podcast shooting up. So I'm going to do everything I can.
Some big stuff coming too.
Yeah, big stuff coming too. Ray, Draco, do you guys want to talk about what you guys are doing? Lady as well.
I have a segment,
I'm waiting.
and that's all you guys are gonna know.
I also have a specific day out of the week that you're gonna see me.
Yep.
And we are going to be posting these segments into our schedules.
I want hump day.
Lady gets Wednesdays.
I'll
Yeah,
take
obviously.
Tuesdays, that's fine. I'll take Tuesdays.
And I'm going
I
to go ahead
claim
and tell you
Thursdays.
guys the segment that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be talking about little gadgets like this.
You get
K2
Monday.
meters. But I'm going to
It's a
be
ramp.
talking about REM pods, K2 meters, spirit boxes, things for ghost investigations that you guys know the tips and tricks to make your guys' ghost investigations go very well as well.
Can we just talk about how beautiful my wall is now? I've changed the scenery.
It's so wonderful.
I also have my
I
altar
noticed
set up
that.
again.
But we have been doing a lot of work to get this ready for you guys. I hope you guys are all enjoying the podcast, and soon the new segments that'll be coming to the channel. We're going to be getting everything set up for you guys, and I think this is a great time for us to open up to chat. If there's anyone that wants to share a story, please do. If not, I'm sure we can find a story from someone.
Oh, I can find a story.
I'm looking into.
So, you guys want to know what fucking pagan means?
What?
What does fucking pagan mean?
It's where you find a pagan and you have
fuck?
aggressive intercourse.
Yeah.
No. So, I'm sorry, but to skip across, and I just can't because it says first and foremost, this is not an insult to any people who are pagan. Okay, all right, but the phrase "fucking pagan" can be used with a person, oftentimes women, who are just completely stuck on silly romantic cliches and won't let them go. That's so weird.
And I know who to
Super
raid
weird.
too.
Good.
I know exactly who we're raiding.
Okay.
So
Ray,
is
you
that
should know who we're raiding too.
I'm looking.
Super
Hold on.
weird.
In our Discord.
I've done that.
So
Got you.
Yep.
I know Green still.
It took me a second, but I got
So
it.
if there's no one, I'm going to talk about something that one of the new members of our Discord had actually just done recently. She's feeling overwhelmed to talk about herself, but she's okay with me sharing.
Mm.
She has actually just used the gifts that she has to do an exorcism of her building,
Holy cow.
or of her boyfriend's building.
Like the whole building?
Got rid of the evil entity that was in there.
That's a lot.
And she had taken before and after photos of everything. One photo, she looked like extremely red in the face, anxious. And after that, she was just nothing but happy. And I even did a voice call with her, and she just sounded really, really happy afterwards.
Nice.
Good.
So let's give a round of applause to her name is Balls Deep.
Hi, Balls Deep! Yay!
Yay, balls
Yay.
deep. We love
She
to
went
be
balls deep into that building.
She
Oh, yeah,
went
you
balls
did.
deep on that entity for sure.
Yeah, for real, for real. That stuff creeps me out. Like, especially when it comes to a cleansing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting, but it's also a very heartwarming feeling too.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's why she was so happy. That's a lot.
But
It's a whole lot.
Ray, do you want to actually talk about the thing that fell off your desk?
It was on my shelf. So I was
Yes.
asleep. Hey,
What's up?
were you in the
Hi.
shower? Is that when that happened?
What?
When my book fell off?
No,
What the-
I was coming back after taking a shower.
Okay, so my fiance was taking a shower.
Yes, we want
I was asleep.
stories, vigilante.
And as he was coming back from the shower, he heard like a loud thud in our bedroom that didn't wake me up. And he said, "My book that I have leaning backwards. It's not a. It's a hefty book. I have it leaning backwards on my shelf next to our TV against the other books. It flipped forward and fell onto the floor. And he's a skeptic, so he ran through every way that it could have been bumped. And nothing made any sense as to how the book went from this and flipped forward.
Oh. Holy shit.
Bruh.
And this was, what, a couple nights ago? It was after I set my altar. Or it was before I set my altar.
Yeah, it was before you set your altar up, because
Before I even
I
set
was
my
about to
altar.
say, was it because you let what's her name out of the glass case? Oh yeah,
yeah.
she has a third doll. You two,
What?
please.
I keep her separate from everyone else. Because she's known to yeet stuff off of stuff.
Oh wow.
And
I
she,
keep her locked behind the
while I was
glass
in a call while she was setting her altar up, and we heard scratching sounds.
Holy shit. Did you guys check out the video with the voice that we got from our
Yeah, yeah.
behind the scenes?
We did a spirit box, and my spirit box said, join us.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's weird that you said scratching noises because I was hearing scratching the other night, but I didn't tell Draco. Sorry.
You didn't tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like it was
Bruh.
super creepy. And I was like, it's not real. I'm dreaming. You know, like
Okay, that sounds good.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was a
go ahead,
very, very, very fun time setting this up.
So
Oh yeah,
Vigilante's got something.
I sat in a call while I set my altar up, but this is my third doll.
No.
Very creepy looking. Annabelle-esque. Annabelle-esque.
God.
no offense.
She's gonna be here.
Vigilante's gonna type something in chat. That's absolutely okay, Vigilante, and then we'll read it out if
Why
that's
do you
okay
look so
with you.
happy with her? She's like, hey, that's my
I
doll.
love her.
No.
She's just a little
It's
auntie.
so creepy. Yeah, it does give the Annabelle-esque.
Vigilante said he'll type because he gets too emotional talking about this story, which is absolutely
Oh.
okay.
Yeah, totally. there are a lot of things that we talk about, and it is very emotional. So that's
Yeah.
totally understandable.
There was one time behind the scenes that my
Cried again.
stepmom's name came up and I had to walk
Mm.
away.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me and Draco had a moment too, behind the scenes.
And it wasn't just her first name that came up. It was both her first and last name that came up.
Yeah. Who was targeting you? I don't know if you're talking about that one night.
That I had to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a rough one.
I'll start with a story on a sad note. So, with
Bear with me.
December 13th, my younger brother passed away.
Oh,
Mm.
Sorry about
I'm
that.
sorry.
I'm guessing this was years ago, Vigilante. And if it all means the same, I know the pain that was last year. The pain, I understand the pain all too well.
Oh yeah, same.
Death
We lost
follows
our brother 2021.
death follows my family a lot,
Draco.
and I've lost a lot within a 5-year span. I've lost more than 10 members of my family.
Same.
Same. With Draco.
It was a rough year.
2020 and 21 was not favorable years.
No.
22 sucked too.
Hey, you guys got to meet me.
Oh, that's true.
2022.
There we go. Good point.
Hey, you guys are the light in our lives. Like,
You guys got to
Bad.
meet me in 2022. That's all that matters, right?
That's true.
exactly.
I was trying to sleep and was woke up around 1 a.m. to a bag of Christmas presents being dragged out of my closet.
Ugh,
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, no.
that's creepy.
That is really creepy.
You'll get them on Christmas. Stop it.
I did not expect that.
That's
Real
yeah,
stuff
that
there.
what were they actually dragged out, or was it just the
Closets are
sound of it?
I don't like closets. That's why we keep ours covered.
My kids still have their LED lights on because of the darkness.
First thought it was my cat. I turned the flashlight on. There was nothing there. Ooh.
Bruh.
Well,
Bruh,
yeah, which one is
chills.
better when there's nothing there
That's
instead of something?
I guess that's a start, yeah.
that don't
Definitely.
make me feel better.
Makes me
Nah.
The
Bag
bag
looked
looked like it was being dragged. Oh my god! You don't see what's dragging it. You say that makes you feel better? No. At least if I can see it, it's tangible.
True. Kind of. But honestly, like, how terrifying would it be to actually see something dragging it? But then it's
And
the
then it
same
just
terrifying
disappears.
feeling as not seeing something, I think. Like, it's kind of both.
It's scary regardless, but being able to see it means okay, you see someone dragging it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, then what do? Right? Like, you see it, and then
You
you're
hit the
just like,
cat. You tell the cat, get off of it. Get off the bag.
I figured it was just my brother stopping to give me a final fuck you.
oh, that's normal.
Was that your kind of relationship with you and your brother? I'm hoping it was a good kind of fuck you kind of thing.
Like
Yeah.
I'm okay kind of thing, yeah.
Hey, like, I'm here. Our cat's here. I have to let my
Yeah.
cat in.
Hold on. My
Your whole
cat's
family is
calling
like
me.
that. So your family is a lot like mine. We'll look at each other and go fuck you asshole, and then at the same night we'll tell each other we love them
Yeah.
because we don't ever mean it.
Yeah, basically, like, hey.
My dad's out in the living room. I walk out my door, like fuck you asshole, as I'm going to the restroom or something.
Yeah. I think that's normal, for,
But yeah,
all tough
that's
love.
that's definitely deep though, because if it the same year your brother passed away at 13 on the 13th, and then not even 12 days later you hear that being the sound of it being dragged, that's definitely a
Creepy.
rough one. That's not just creepy, that's just rough. That's like a dagger straight to the heart,
Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
that's a lot.
especially
Lot to take in.
when you start thinking that it was your brother giving you the final fuck you.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, a few days later, I had a dream, and it was weird as fuck. The only thing I can clearly remember is that he was in it and
Oh,
said nothing and gave me a hug, and I woke up.
so he's
I
basically
don't think that was a
visiting
dream.
you.
Mm-mm.
Me personally, I
He
don't
was
think that was a dream. I think that was him.
Visit.
That was a
Yeah.
visit. I mean, you were in a sleep state, but I think it was more of a vision kind of thing of him being there saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And that he's okay.
That he is okay. And that's the more important thing right there.
Yeah.
That's still a dagger, but it's a warm, loving kind of way. So Vigilante, I want to say I am sorry for your loss. I know it was just a year ago,
Condolences.
and
Yeah. Definitely, bro.
it's a nice feeling to have that he was able to come to you and say that he's okay without saying anything.
Like a confirmation.
Yeah.
I think on that note, we should rate out.
Who we rating?
We're gonna be rating Knox Fett.
Yay, my
Oh,
bestie.
I'm with you, Vigilante. It is nice to see, loved ones who passed and
Yeah.
come visit
Yes,
us.
absolutely,
It is
guys.
absolutely such a good feeling.
And they do visit.
Thank you guys
See my
so
brother.
much for coming out to this podcast. I
Yeah.
love each and every one of you. This is the year that the podcast is going to take off. And with that, we're going to come to a close. As always, I will see you guys next week. Peace.
We got